Here we have a pre-owned 2017 Toyota Yaris 5-door. Now this one comes in the LE trim level in magnetic gray metallic. We get black cloth interior. For the powertrain, 1.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine made it to a 4-speed automatic transmission. That's 106 horsepower, 103 pound-feet of torque. Now to the front end here, halogen headlamps and a very Scion-esque front fascia in my opinion, but I like it. Over here to the wheels here, I believe these are actually aluminum, so these are gonna be 15-inch. Love having those wheels as opposed to hubcaps, I'll tell you that. Now over here to the door panel, we get express down for the driver's side, regular power windows on the other 3 doors, power door lock controls, rear window locks. Power mirror controls are here, hood release, and this is for the auto high beams for the crash departure alert. Had a brain fart there. And then that's for the gas cap. There's a driver's seat manual. Big thanks to John Roberts Toyota though for allowing me to review this Yaris today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on a new vehicle in your area, click on that second link down below. It takes a minute to fill out your info. Whatever you're looking for, I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on it. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. There's a little bit of space back there, so let's see how we fit. So not the best room, as you can see that small gap between the seat back and the seat bottom here, but could be worse. I've seen worse. Nice big bottle holder down there. View of the front from back here. Seat back pocket on this side. Let's see if I can make my way out of here. Ooh. And if you want to fold the seat down, pull this here. When the seat's up far enough, should fold flat, and then you have the top tethers on the back of the seat there. Gas cap. Then to the back end here. There's the exhaust. Underneath here, spare tire. But I mean, you can put a few grocery bags behind the second row if you want to. No backup camera here either, so that's kind of a disappointment, but not hard to get an aftermarket one. Same thing with this seat here. So that will fold flat if the seat's up far enough, but not too much space in these, obviously, so you basically have to just get that one out of the way just so you could fold that seat flat. So depending on what you're trying to do, you can configure it somewhat. Front passenger seat. I like that we have the small pockets here. The glove compartment, still have the owner's manuals in this one. Then back to the front. See if we can get in the hood. Again, a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder. Can't wait to see how that does on a test drive. But miles on this isn't bad. It's a little under 96,000. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So even though this is like a vinyl, I really like this. It looks good. Feels nice even though it's not leather. Let's hear this horn. Actually not as wimpy as I expected, so that's impressive. Over to the radio here, we do get AM, FM, CD drive, and Bluetooth. And then you have an aux input and a USB if you have the cords hooked up for that. And those are right there. Get a 12 volt there as well. Hazards are here. Go into your setup, you can see general settings. Change the language if you want to. Audio settings and all of that. So not too much going on here. You can of course hook up the Bluetooth or go to the apps, but gotta have a navigation system installed to use that. You do get voice recognition, which is cool. Down here, you get single zone manual climate control, so you can adjust the fan direction, fan speed, temperature there, toggle that AC, and then bottle holders here. Just hit the brake, put it into gear, reverse, neutral, drive, third, second, first, or low, excuse me. And then put it back up for park. Handbrake there, traction control toggle. There's a look at the back seat from up here. Lights. There's your vanity mirror. Put this back up here. And then back to the steering wheel. Blinkers, low beams, high beams are there. Now that is cool, since you have the auto high beams, that can actually be controlled with a sensor instead of you having to do it manually. And then our intermittent wipers are here. One time off, intermittent low, high. And then you have your rear wiper here. And then fluid, front fluid. Now your cruise control, turn that on there, adjust the speed, cancel. You do have a lane departure warning there. This mode button goes through your audio sources. Volume can be toggled right there. And then you can go through your track list or radio station presets by doing this here. And then you can control the clock there, or you can change the trip meter. See your fuel economy, and then distance to empty. I like to just have the miles up there. And then here's your key in the ignition. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2017 Toyota Yaris LE out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Yaris here, has a lot more pickup than I was expecting, I'm not gonna lie. Very impressive for this kind of car. I had a 97 Geo Prism, I think it had a 1.64 cylinder in it. And it did not get up as well as this does. So that's definitely nice to know. And I mean, obviously, fuel economy is going to be very good here, but I'm just impressed that this can keep up with traffic like it does. Now the ride is definitely just a tad rocky. Now this has 96,000 miles on it, so there could be a number of issues going on here, but as of now, it's really not bad. Now most vehicles I bring down this road, 2025 Tundras and new Toyota Crowns and new Nissan Altimas ride better than this does, but this is a very small car. I will say that, very small. And a very cheap car, so I don't expect it to ride like a new Camry. But so far, I mean, the overall driving, I love that. It's so easy to drive this thing. Steering just makes sense. The gas pedal and the brake pedal makes sense for something that has 106 horsepower. But it's just something you can whip around town in, really. If you wanted to take it on a road trip, you have cruise control, but let me just stop right there. But these are best for commuters. If you have a 20-30 mile commute and you just want to burn like maybe a gallon of gas if you have to, it's good for that. But mostly around cities and things of that nature where you don't necessarily need to race to get up to speed. You do a lot of stop and go. That's what these are good for. And overall, I mean, the ride quality, it's quiet in here. The ride is steady. It's just a tad bouncy on these rougher patches of road that 18-wheelers come down. But, I mean, it's not like super annoying, it's just noticeable. Now, if you're used to riding around a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce, this ride gonna be terrible for you. But if you're used to driving a normal car, specifically if you're used to driving a small, just regular gas sipping car, you shouldn't have too many issues with the suspension on this. Obviously, where I have my windshield or my license plate in the windshield, that's rattling a little bit, but other than that, I'm not hearing any weird noises. And another thing that's appreciated is where this is such a cheap car, I'm not intimidated, which I wouldn't be, but I feel like most people won't be intimidated by this because your cruise controls here, volume, trackless, go through your sources, headlight stalk is here, windshield wipers are here, just what you're used to. It's normal. There's not any weird buttons to learn, like you got to turn this to do that, or you got to hit this 3 times to do that, or I can't get to my settings in the screen. Everything you need is right there because there's not that much. And there's almost like relief in that for a certain buyer, because a lot of people don't like that manufacturers are putting as much tech into the vehicle as they can these days. Some people just want something to get from point A to point B, and they only have to be overwhelmed with the traffic, not with their actual car. Now I'm about to take it on the interstate here, and I'm curious as to how this is going to run at around 70, 75 miles per hour on the interstate. Just in terms of only having 4 gears to go through. I'm gonna make sure I'm good to go here. I think I'll be able to do it from a stop. This will be fun. All right, here we go. That was actually pretty funny. Now I know these roads like the back of my hand because I take them so often, but I know that 18-wheeler was thinking, what is this Toyota Yaris doing? But I mean, it gets the job done, really. But I was going downhill and still barely made it. I shouldn't say barely made it, but I had to work for it. Now I will say, the ride is still not smooth here, so I'm thinking there might be, I mean, maybe these just ride that rough, but it's just it's a tad bouncy on the interstate, which is just interesting to me. Very interesting. But I want to give one more thank you to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Yaris today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And if you're looking to find the best price on a new vehicle in your area, click that second link down below. It takes a minute to fill out your info. I'll make sure local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on any new vehicle. But all in all, I mean, I think a solid in-town car. These weren't made to go cross country. They can, but they weren't thinking about comfort. They weren't thinking about the ride quality. They were thinking about, we need to make a cheap car for commuters who just need something to get back and forth to work, and they want to be as cheap as possible. And these days, it's just hard to compete from that angle, and that's why you're not seeing these around unless they are used and have a ton of miles on them. But I mean, small cars are just, you know, they realize they can make SUVs that are as efficient for about the same money, depending on how you look at things, for the consumer. So everybody would rather have an SUV as opposed to a small car that can barely fit in, if everything else is considered equal. But again, there's still a small market for these, a niche market for people that might live in small towns, or again, people that live in large towns that don't necessarily get on the interstate, don't need to get up to speed, and they just need something that burns the least amount of gas possible. So the Yaris is still for you. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of the 2017 Toyota Yaris LE.